vulnerability was the lack of engagement, lack of connection with their customers, the lack of having databases that they can manage, the lack of communication. So a lot of businesses realize that they put themselves in a situation of struggle because they didn't have systems and process to engage and to nurture relationships, and more importantly, to ask people to buy, right? That was a huge problem. Go HighLevel has kind of come at the perfect time. It's like perfect moment in time to solve probably one of the biggest problems, and that is the management of clients and the management of leads through the sales process, through the market. So one of the things that a lot of people do is they tend to jump in, they underprice what we do because we've got this cool software, we're just learning, we're sort of ambiguous about our price points. So we might be charging people like, you know, $50 a user, $100 a user, maybe we charge $1,000 for an email sequence, and in that process, we're going through this learning curve of how to use this amazing tool to help people with a very significant problem right now, and that is to be able to manage their incoming leads and, more importantly, manage the relationship between them and their customers. So what we have here is probably one of the most powerful business tools out there for both small, medium, and large businesses in the marketplace. So to be able to help people and to be able to understand people, you've got to understand the problem, right? First, number one, you know, what is the problem we're solving? Who has that problem? Who can we go and help? Are two key things we need to understand. The key thing, business 101, we need to, from a business point of view, from a client perspective, whoever we work with, we need to understand three aspects of their business. The first aspect is how do they acquire their customers? How does your client get customers? How do they get leads? What do they do with the leads? How do they sell those leads? What's the sales cycle? We need to understand their acquisition, right? Are they advertising? Are they getting word of mouth? Are they running campaigns on mainstream media? Are they running promotions, trade show? Whatever they're doing to generate clients, we just need to understand how they acquire, number one. Number two, we need to understand what the client value is. So how does a business, like even you or us or our business, how do we maximize the average revenue per customer that we get? So we need to understand when a business sells a client, is a client worth $1,000 for an upfront sale, or $500 or $10,000? If we look at that from that point, does a client buy more than once in a year? What is the lifetime value over a year? What is the lifetime value over 5 years? So a client who buys it at $1,000 might buy 4 times a year. That's $4,000. Might stick around for 5 years. The client's worth $20,000. So the value proposition of engaging customer becomes more specific, right? So we understand now.
John, can I jump in and ask you a question about what you're just talking about? I'm really curious as to your personal opinion. A lot of our community members are still trying to figure out what they want their niche to be, what niche to go after. Now, how heavily does that weigh into your decision? Do you only look for clients that sell higher level products or services that have recurring built in, or are you not scared? It doesn't matter. Go into the niche that you have the most experience with.
So a couple of things. Use your experience, number one. Number two, if you haven't got a niche, let the niche choose you, not you choose the niche. You want to help businesses. You're helping businesses through the acquisition process, through the management process, and through a nurturing process. Right, so I can talk about hot niches right now that desperately need HighLevel, and they'd be willing to pay, you know, 5, 10, even 20, even up to $100 grand a month for a built-out system that is working, generating revenue and outcomes for them. There are plenty of markets like that right now that will do that. The key thing is we need to know the sales cycle, right? So in terms of client value, I like to look at businesses that have an average client value of $1,000 per transaction, right? $1,000 per transaction. Most companies will invest up to $200 to buy that customer, right? They'll spend about $200 to get that customer. $15,000, $10,000 customer, they'll spend about $1,000 to $1,500 to buy that customer. $20,000 customer, they'll spend up to $2,500 to buy that customer. 10 customers, $25,000, right? So the acquisition cost provides a framework to anchor what the value of the client is to the business. So that second element of understanding how much a client's worth to a business is critical for us providing a solution that is about converting or helping to convert or help build a relationship for future ongoing revenue. If we understand that number, then we can anchor that price or that prospect to what we charge as a value proposition. We actually raise our value proposition, right? The third element is how does the client keep the client going, right? Does a client pay every month? Are they every quarter? Is it once every 3 years? What do they do to nurture that relationship? What do they do to generate referrals? What do they do to upsell, educate, provide more offers to their existing markets so they can actually build revenue per client? So business one-on-one, how do we acquire customers? What is the average dollar and what is the maximum revenue we earn per customer, so wallet share? And how do we keep the customer paying, or how do we keep selling other things to the customer? Those are three elements. Now, for us here in HighLevel, we're in business and we do exactly the same thing, right? How do we acquire customers? How do we get our customers to spend as much money as possible on our services as ongoing, right? Consumer consumption. How do we make sure that customer stays for as long as possible? And the beauty of HighLevel is it allows us to be sticky. That's the one thing, one of the biggest things I love about HighLevel is it's sticky, because if the customer stops paying and they leave, everything stops. No sales conversion, no communication, no marketing, no offer, no revenue. That's a cutoff. It's like a deep cliff that just somebody jumped off and it stops. So if HighLevel is generating $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month in revenue, that's $480,000 a year. That's $1 million every year and a bit, right? Every 2 years and a bit. You're going to go and stop a service and lose $1 million worth of revenue, right? So that's the beauty of longevity and stickiness of HighLevel. So if we understand the businesses we help, we understand what they do, what they charge, what their sales process is, and what the revenue opportunities are, then that's easy for us to go in and go, great, well, if you're acquiring leads, how do you manage them right now? What's your sales process, right? We need to understand their sales process first. Right? What's the sales cycle? Does the client buy in a day, straight away on the spot? Do they buy 3 or 4 days? You've got to go through an estimate, then a proposal, then a follow-up, and the sales cycle is, between 3 and 8 days. Do they take a little bit longer? Do you need to provide relevance, indoctrination, information? Does the client buy in 6 weeks, in 12 weeks? The higher the value of the client, the longer the sales cycle, right? So depending on what product or service you are having, the longer the sales cycle is, the higher the price. So if you sell something for 100 grand, generally to close a 100 grand deal is going to take you between 8 weeks to 6 months, depending on what you're selling, right? You're closing $1 million deal, that could take 12 months. So what is the process to manage the relationship over a 12-month period to close a $1 million deal, right? So this is what, I guess the reason I want to just start with is, the more you understand about how business works in those 3 categories, the easier it is for us to take this product and actually sell it to the client, because we have relevance, right? And that's really key. So first thing is, what is the problem we solve? The number one problem most businesses have right now in the world is they have a very poor sales process. They don't have an optimized sales process, because if they had an optimized sales process, they'd be dialing it in, and they're not. Because most customers out there that are doing lead gen say to people that our leads suck. And the reason their leads suck is not because the lead sucks, sometimes it does, but the reason why is because they are unable to manage that lead in real time. So they lose sales opportunities all the time. They've spent the money, but what they're doing is they're converting anywhere between 5 to 10% of what's coming in, and they're going, that's not enough. We're spending X amount of dollars, we're not converting. And rather than take a look at their process, they go, well, the leads must be terrible. Right? So let me just for those listening, so you understand, because I'm going to get into some sales stuff in just a moment. From a lead point of view, right? 3% of the market right now is ready to buy. Anybody coming to you that's really interested, understands their problem, that knows you have a solution, 3% of the market want to buy your product right now without questioning it, because they know what they want, they know what they want to fix, and they're ready to go. 7% of the market, they want to buy what you have to offer. They just have some questions and clarification to understand if it's a fit for them. So really the buying zone is about 10% in the market. That's the buying zone. Immediate buying zone, right? Ready to go. You follow the right path, they're going to buy from you, 10%. 30% of the market will buy if you build a relationship, answer questions, and indoctrinate. 30%, another 30% will buy within 3 months to 6 months. They will guarantee you they will buy, because they came to you, they were interested, it wasn't a fit right now, or they didn't understand, or maybe they weren't ready, maybe they were selecting options, right? But if you build that relationship and nurture that relationship over 3 to 6 months, they will buy. So if out of every 10 leads that come to you that have an interest in what you have to offer, 4 of those people will buy, 10 of those people can buy immediately, 30% of those people will buy within the next 3 to 6 months for every 100 leads, right? Now, here's a cool thing about this number, right? That's 60%, right? Will never buy. There's another 60%, they'll never buy. You can put them on the burner. What I like to do is I like to take that 60% that'll never buy and just go and flick them on my competitors. Let them waste the time with that 60%, right? What I want to focus on is people who are interested, who are going through the process, right? So if we know, and here's another kicker, right? If somebody is going to give you the time to walk through how you help them with HighLevel to maximize their ability to convert sales and manage leads and do that, if they give you that time, they are already 80% sold on what you've got to offer. That 20%, which is the part where you do a presentation and you ask for the deal, that's where you help them to choose you or you help them to not choose you. That's not the client's prerogative, that's your prerogative. You as the owner of the business, over the system, you are the one that's making the decision for them. You're either going to help them buy what you have to offer, or you're going to help them say, you're not the guy, this isn't the solution, I'm getting out of here. That's what happens in the sales cycle right now. Right now, people need indoctrination. They need understanding. They need to know who you are, right? They need to understand that you understand the problem and that you can help them. That's what they need to know. If you demonstrate in any way, shape, or form any doubt in their mind, they'll go and buy from somebody else immediately. Right? We don't have enough time to waste. We're in a world of being very pragmatic. We've got volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity right now. We have a lot of stuff going on, right? So people have to be very serious about their decision making because they're going to understand that the money they invest has to provide some level of ROI, or it has to solve a problem big enough, right? So that it eliminates some form of cost or loss, right? So understand in the sales cycle, the question that I always ask, right, is what problem am I solving, right? What is the value of that problem to the market? Then who has this problem, right? Who has this problem? What types of businesses? Not just one niche or one market, what type of business has this problem? I want to know what types of businesses can benefit from what I do. And it might be a whole bunch of types of businesses, right? So that's the second thing, right? Then if I understand who needs this problem, my question now is how do I engage them to open the conversation about solving the problem? That part is really easy. Hey, right now we know that this is a common problem in your market. Are you interested in looking at how to get better results or better outcomes or a much stronger system and process that's going to add significant value and revenue to your business, not in the coming months, but for the coming years to come, right? If we had a process in the system that can manage your sales process, maximize your conversions, give you reporting and understanding and forecasting, show you value proposition of your client, do all those things that add an asset value to your business, is it okay if we have a conversation around that? Yes or no, right? Very few companies are going to go, no, I'm not interested in any of those things in my business, right? But the thing is, most people try once. Most people try and put that message out there once, and then that's it. And then they hear crickets, right? Now, I don't know about you, Chase, but your email inbox, is it busy?
Of course.
Do you read every email that comes in your inbox every day?
Of course not.
Do you play the delete, highlight, and just go delete? Or do you have
mark as red? I just mark them as red. Yeah.
Exactly. Go boom, right? So here's the thing, right? Your prospects in the market is the same thing. So as part of our sales process, we need a multiple touch point modality process. And HighLevel does that, right? We can bang them on email. We can bang them on Facebook Messenger. We can give them a text message. We can do a voice drop. We can hit people 4 times using the very software and strategy that we are going to sell into the marketplace. And the client's going to go, how the hell did you get me on the phone? Well, the system that I'm about to share with you, right? That's how we've got you here. And you want to get your clients here too. Yes, right? So if I hit you in multiple modalities, then I'm going to get through. I'm going to see your name pop up. I'm going to hear your voice. I'm going to see you multiple times. I'm more inclined to go, who is this Chase Buckner guy? I think I'll talk to him, right? Mm-hmm. Most people try one message and that's it, right? What you want to do is, and right now, LinkedIn's a really cool place to go and find a double connection, right? You can get an email, you can get the LinkedIn connection, you can find them on Facebook, connect on Facebook, you can see their Twitter handles, you can touch people in multiple modalities. And if you're reaching out to people, you can hit people more than once, right? And if you're going to hit people more than once, you want to hit them 4 times with the same message. 4 times. So imagine I'm going to hit you on LinkedIn, email, Messenger, and if I've got your phone number, I'm going to get you on text, so that's 4. And then I'm going to hit you 4 times in 4 places 16 times, right? Same message. Now, if I've hit you 16 times and it's relevant, I'm going to grab your attention. You're going to eventually come, okay, what the hell is this about?
Yeah,
Right?
who is this guy?
Who's this guy, right? And there are four methods. There's a methodology that we use. I've been teaching for years, and it works brilliantly, right? We have to have a compelling offer. What's the hook, right? If we've got a great hook, then we should lead with the hook, right? So we've got a compelling offer, right? Right now, if we took a average conversion rate in your industry from 10% to 15 to 20%, we essentially will double revenue and sales every single month. If that's something that might be useful to your company, and see how a system actually does that in automation, is it worthwhile sitting down, or what's the best number I can get you on to just have a quick chat about what that looks like for you, right? So we have to have a great hook. Now, first email, that's a great hook, right? Second email, hey, Chase, I didn't hear back from you. This is what I was talking about. Not sure if you're interested, let me know. Give me the best phone number I can contact you on, right? Third email, if I didn't hear back from you after the second email, hey Chase, I just want to understand, I want to know what you think about this idea, right? This outcome, right? Best number I can chat to you on, right? And then last one is, hey Chase, are you interested in looking at a proven system right now that is helping to secure 90% booking rates and scheduling calls for sales in the marketplace? Are you interested? Give me the best phone number. So now, 4 messages, right? 4 messages, 42 times. Right? I'm banging you 42 times with a message. That sounds awful. I'm banging you before. So 42 times I'm hitting you with a message, right? That's relevant, right? Well, you're going to get to know me. You're going to go, well, who the hell is this? You know, what's going on, right? So branding, right? Your PS is really important because people got to understand who you are. So what do you do? What do you specialize in? Who do you help, right? Who do you help? And what do you do to help? And if you've got a result, share a result in your PS. Hey, I'm John Logar. I specialize in helping dental practices secure their appointments for customers for dental implants. We've helped ABC Dental increase their booking space by 30% and add 25% extra revenue every single week to that practice. PS, right? That's your PS. So people go, oh, who are you, right? Who's this guy? They need some context, right? Some context. So now we know who we can help. We know what we can do to help people, right? We've reached out to them, and now somebody's going to go, hey, I'm interested, right? And so there's a couple of options. What most people do is they don't value what they do. They give away this thing called a free strategy session, right? And so when somebody books in an hour for a free strategy session, they're curious. They might not be full on board, I want to do this, but they're curious, right? They'll go, okay, I'm interested, right? The number one thing, 80% of the sale is made before you do your sales presentation. 80% of a customer buying what you have to offer happens before they look at your demo, So we have to determine how important our stuff is to them. But before we can do a strategy session, I want to ask you a couple of questions, right? Right now, what's going on you right now in your business sales-wise? How are the leads going? Do they suck? Are you good with them? Do you get a lot of them? Do you get enough of them? Right? What do you do with them? When somebody comes in, does somebody jump on within the first 60 seconds? Do they get an immediate response? Do they follow through? Are they taken through an FAQ? What is the sales cycle, right? What happens? We generally get a call, they do an inquiry, then we go out and do an estimate. Great. How many hours do you spend on the estimate? We spend probably about 3 or 4 hours. Great. And then what happens after they get the estimate? Well, we kind of wait and see if they call us and go ahead, or, we've got some smart people and they'll follow up at least once. And great. Out of 10 people that you give the estimate to, how many people go ahead and buy? Well, we probably get at least 1 or 2 in 10 of those people. Okay, great. And your average sale is roughly $15,000 to basically repair a roof. Okay, 15 grand. Okay, so every 10 people, you're making about 30 grand. If you got, how many salespeople you got? I've got 3 or 4 guys. So 3 or 4 guys, you're making 120 grand a month out of 3 or 4 guys. Would that be fair? Yeah, that's right. So my question to you is, what happened to the 8 people out of every 10 that didn't buy? What happened to the $90,000 that you lose every time only 2 people spend 30 grand? What do you do about them? Nothing, right? Do you think that if we handle them a little bit differently, we could go from like a 1 in 10 to a 2 in 10 if we actually manage that process, automated, had communication? Because this is what happens to your sales guys, right? They get really busy and they're only going to go after the low-hanging fruit. So every month they're getting these leads, they'll do these proposals or these estimates, and then all of a sudden the estimate they did at the beginning of the month, they've forgotten about. They don't chase them anymore because they're too busy chasing your estimates. So you're burning revenue. You could be burning. So let's have a look at this for a second. If you had 4 guys, multiply that by 8. Let's say the average sale's 10 grand. So what's that? That's $80,000. So we got 30. You're burning $320,000 in opportunity costs every month because your guys can't keep up with the process. Now, if we did that every single month, map that out, that's $3.6 million every year in sales that you lose. Now, I don't know about you, Chase, but do you think we should go after that $3.6 million, or do you think we should just throw them away and just keep spending money and buying more people and losing more and more money? Which strategy do you think would be best, Chase? Right?
Yeah, especially if you're telling me that you can automate it, right? So it's not like I have to hire an extra guy.
Exactly, right? So imagine, what if we now had a system to minimize that loss and put part of that revenue back in your bank account? How important would that be, Chase, for you, for that to be a reality for you? Very important.
Sounds fantastic, of course.
Total waste of time, Chase. No, I'm interested. It's important, right? So let's set an objective. Let's set a focus and objective for that outcome. If we were able to add, right, like let's say, well, I'm using that as an extreme, but let's say the sales are $1,000, right? So if we had a system and a process where you could physically see in real time actual figures of your opportunity cost, and physically see conversions and look at ways of improving that communication to increase conversions, and we were to add an extra $20,000 to $30,000 a month in revenue, that's $360,000 a year. Over the next 5 years, that's $1.5 million worth of revenue. Let me tell you, Chase, how important would it be for you to have that system in place to make that outcome a reality?
That sounds pretty important to me. Let's do this.
Yeah. My question is, what would you do with the money? Because right now you don't have it. Now you're going to have it. If we don't have a purpose for it or have a good reason as to why we want it, then we're going to miss out. So why do you need that extra 30 grand in revenue per month? What are you going to do with the money? You're going to buy a jet ski, you're going to buy a car, take the kids on a holiday, hire people, right? Bring people into your business. You've got to understand why. In their mind, you're anchoring why it's important to them. That's what we're going through in the process, right? If they don't anchor why it's important, then it's not important, right? So you're telling me you want to add, you want to go for an extra 300 grand a year, an extra over and above what you're doing right now, by putting in a system that's going to nurture those outcomes, right? So that's number one, right? Number two,
that's a pretty good little Jedi mind trick there. I like that.
Number two, the reason why you want to do this, Chase, is because you want to hire more people. You want to open up a new location. You want to buy that jet ski. You want to take your family on a holiday. You want to take some time out of your business. You want to actually, for the first time, make some real profitability and asset value in your business. That's why you're saying this is important to hit that outcome, right? So now I just need to understand, Chase, what's the bottleneck? Right now, we don't have that 300 grand. We want the 300 grand, but right now what we're doing isn't giving us that outcome. So give me just a précis of what's stopping you from right now collecting that money. Don't have the system, don't have the people, don't know the process, haven't kicked in enough resources. Didn't realize at this moment that we're losing 30 grand or 50 grand a month, right? But we
don't have the time. I think it's usually don't have the time, right?
Don't have the time, right? So let me ask you a very simple question, right? That objective right there, if we made that the goal, right? We know why you want it. It's really important why you want this. We know these are the bottlenecks. I just need to understand, are you 10 out of 10, you need to do this now? Or are you 5 out of 10, I need to think about it. This is a nice idea, but that $360,000 really isn't that important to me. Are you 10 out of 10 if I need to do something about it now? Or right now, it's a nice idea, but right now we're not interested in building asset or collecting revenue from the existing opportunities that we have. What do you want to do? 10 out of 10?
Yeah, I need to do this now. I need to be able to pay off that whatever I just bought for the company.
Boom, right? So in that moment, we've just gone through a very simple sales process, Chase. What's important to you? Why is that important to you? What's stopping you from getting that right now? Because obviously it's important. Now, my question is, let's validate how important this is. I need to do this now, or I need to think about it. I need to waste some time. I need to let every month go. I'm willing to lose 30 grand or 50 grand every single month, right? 10 out of 10, I need to do this now. So Chase, right? Here's what I'm offering you. You need to understand what's going on in your business very clearly to be able to maximize your ability to convert and generate revenue. for you to be able to pick up that 360 grand now and 360 grand every year, adding 1.5 million revenue over 5 years, we need to go through a process to understand the sales process, the customer's buying behavior, your process on how to help a customer successfully engage and buy what you have to offer, right? And what that looks like. We normally charge for that service. It is $5,000 to do that proper analysis. Now, at the end of that $5,000, if you're not happy with our analysis, you get to keep the money. We don't get to keep your money. Or you can use that $5,000 towards the initial setup of the process that we'll work towards, so you can go and aim for that objective and that outcome. Are you okay with investing that initial process so one, we can understand very clearly what the revenue opportunities are, give you a real-time understanding of what you need to do to be able to capture that, and also making sure now you have a structure and a plan to implement that's going to put that revenue bank account. Are you okay with that investment?
So you're telling me I make the payment, and then if we move forward, you're going to apply it to my first invoice?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you like the plan, go ahead, we'll use that initial installment as part of the installment to set up your program, right? So now most people in that moment, like, so I'll give you an example. One of our champions did this day before yesterday, right? 15 minutes. This is how the phone call went. What do you need to do? We need to fix things. Okay, great. Why do you need to do this? Well, you know, we've been doing it wrong for so long. We just got to get our shit together and we've got to get this going. Great. So you need to do this now. Yep, we need to do this now. Awesome. Right. Well, initially we have to go through a process to, one, assess what's going on right now. Two, to project out what has to happen to hit that outcome and objective. Your investment, that's going to be $7,500. Are you cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Great. I've got a payment link right here. Just type in, I've just zoomed the payment link to you on the chat here. Just type in your credit card. We'll take care of that and we'll get started. And they gave $7,500 for the chit chat, right? 15 minutes from starting the conversation to, are you serious? You need to do this. Are you ready to go? Yes. Great. Well, the first thing we need to do is this. Are you okay? Yep. Let's do this. I need to do this now, right? Well, great.
Now, do you know what industry that was, just to get us thinking about?
That was for insurance. That was for insurance, right?
Gotcha.
So $7,500 to do an assessment on their current sales process and how they're going to fit into HighLevel to manage their leads, right? Mm-hmm. $7,500 for chit chat. The demo, $7,500 for the demonstration. A little bit more in depth to understand what's going on, because they need to understand, right? How can you fix a problem if you know what the problem is? And you're gonna spend time to deep dive into that. That conversation is gonna be about 90 minutes. The presentation for that $7,500 is a 90-minute presentation that's recorded. That's it. That's what they're paying. There's no massive 20-page report. There is some suggestions. Here's what the problem is. This is what the map looks like that needs to be put into place. Right, here's a diagram of your process and workflow. And then, right, so to get started, we need to do this. Yes?
So that's what I love about what you just said is that's what I think, like you said, you have to understand what they're doing and where the holes are now. And then you have to map the solution, right? And that's why I love to use like mind maps like Whimsical to map it all out and be like, okay, here's what you're doing now. Here's how we're going to fix it. And when people see that, they're like, oh, got it. That was worth the money, because now I understand where I'm falling down and what it looks like to be better, you know?
Yeah. And right now, when you show them that workflow, they go, that's what I want, Chase.
Totally.
That's exactly what I want, right? Like, I know a friend of mine, David Spray, uses mind mapping software, right? And it's like a funnel. Like, I think it's Geru. I don't know if you know Geru, right? Geru can work out the conversion rates and dollar values based on a map, right? You can put the numbers in and just press the number and say, well, if we run this process and run this automation, your worst case scenario based on your cost of ads is you're going to make $20,000 every week, right? That's 80 grand a month. It's $720,000 a year by just putting this into place. And that's your worst case scenario. What do you think we should do, Chase?
What was the name of that software? I'm sure people are wondering.
Geru.com, Geru.com, right? So it's not very expensive, and it literally maps out, and you put numbers to it, and you can just go press a button and talk about conversion, not conversion, right? Well, you can say, hey, this will take you in the red. If you're running leads, paying this amount of money for leads, going through the system, you know, if you don't have this mapped out correctly, you could fail, right? So we can show you the red number and we can show you the black number, but it's a great demonstration of what the process looks like. It's just mapping software. It's pretty simple, right? So, but it's a demo, right? Same thing with HighLevel. I would mock up a demo in HighLevel, put some leads in, put some value proposition, show the numbers, show a dashboard, right? And say, look, let's play with the numbers. If we were to add a few things in here, look what changes. The numbers go up. Our conversion rate now is 20%. This is 20%. Look at the sales, right? What happens when we have a 20% conversion rate? Look at the revenue that you cash in. Right now, you don't have a system like that. But if you have a system like this and you can see this in real time every single day and you can see the activity of what's going on every day, what difference do you think that's going to make to your business, Chase?
Yeah.
Oh, this
No,
is going to be freaking awesome, right?
it's really important. And I love, thanks for sharing that tool. I just threw it into the chat so everybody has it.
So yeah, so we've got the person agreeing to spend some money to do an assessment. It's not free anymore. We're not giving away, like, I don't know about you, Chase, but I know you value your time. You're a pretty busy guy. I value my time. If I value my time and somebody pays me for my time, that means they're committed. If they put $500 down, $200 down, $1,000, doesn't matter what number they put down. If they've physically invested in your time as an expert, they are now committed to listening to you. They are now interested, they're actually engaged, and part of that process is great. Well, we've invested this, we need to fix it. We're serious. They're showing you they're committed. They're a 10 out of 10, they need to do something, right? So if I know that they're a 10 out of 10 and they're committed, my likelihood of converting is going to be so much better. So now that I've gone through that process, I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to put a plan together for you. We're going to work on a plan together. We're going to look at this process, map this out for you. At the end of that process, I'm going to ask you, right, if you like the plan, and invite you to work with each other. Are you okay making that type of decision that's going to be generating that outcome for you? You okay with that, Chase?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? I'm here doing the plan. What am I going to do with the plan after I've built the plan? I'm going to throw it on the fire, right? I have to execute, right?
Yeah.
So I have to go through it. So now I'm going to go through, and this is the way you don't sell it, they buy it, right? You don't sell it, they buy it, right? Remember, 80% of the sale is made before you ask a customer to buy. That last 20%, you decide on whether they're going to buy it, and you decide on whether you're going to scare them away. That's where we come in, right? So if we do a half-assed job and we use this sales process I'm about to share, right, more often than not, people are just going to buy it. They're just going to step into it and buy it, right? So I'm going to walk you through. It's really, really simple. We can role play this, right? So we've done the mind mapping. We've done the process. We've shown you the system and the process we're going to build for you. We've shown you that, we've seen, look, other companies doing exactly the same thing. This is sort of the results that they're getting if you've helped other people. Ultimately, we've got to that point in the presentation, Chase, where we've shown you everything, and then we just stop. We don't show the price. We don't show anything else. We just stop right there. Are you cool with this strategy? Can you see how this system, this process is going to help you right now get a much better result than you've been getting right now? Are you okay with this?
Yep, and the map looks good. It makes total sense to me. I understand that it makes sense that would work.
Great. So now I'm going to stop and go, so what do you think we should do next, Chase?
Well, I don't know. How do we get started?
Okay, great. So there you go. You just bought, right? So as soon as I ask that question, where do you think we should go to from here? Or what do you think we should do next? Sometimes people go, well, I don't know. You tell me, right? And I go, well, great. Look, Chase, is it okay if I walk you through how we work together and implement this outcome? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, of course.
This is how we're going to work together, right? We're going to allocate a customer account manager to map out this process. We've got a copy team that's going to put the copy and the sales copy. Our automation team is going to put the automations together to set this up. In phase one, we're going to map this out for you. And we've got 3 of our team members to execute on this plan, your plan that we've just built for you. So, so you're okay with all of that? Does that look good to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great. So where do you think we should go to from here, Chase?
Well, let's talk about how much this is going to cost.
Awesome, thank you. So let me walk you through what the investment is process. Now, what we do is generally the base level that we work with people is to run a singular system that does the very thing you're asking to do, and that is to convert sales. We have an automated email process that we run. Your investment in that process is $8,000 to set that up properly for you with our team, and we are asking for 2 to 3 grand a month for that process. That's package one, right? That's our poverty program. That's the don't call it a poverty program, but this is our base program that everybody, the least that you want to do is you want to do this. That's going to give you a much better outcome than you got right now, but that's the least that you want to do. The second program that we have, and this is the business development program that everybody buys into, is we have the email, we have the mapping out of the appointment setting process, and we also have what happens if people don't show up. We have a plug-in process to re-engage that customer back into that scheduling cycle, so we actually increase the chance of appointments. So we want to guarantee that the customer turns up and shows up for that sales meeting before that estimate for your people. Your investment in that program, the setup fee is $10,000. Your investment in that program is $4,000 per month as part of that process, right? You can manage as many leads as you want in the system. That gives all the stuff as part of this process, right? So that's number two, program number two, 10 grand, 4 grand a month. Now, I know some people, Chase, they want the box and dice. They want the supercharged system. So we've built the whole enchilada program. The whole enchilada program over here, this puts that entire process of the sales cycle on steroids. Because over here, what we can do is we have our email, messenger, chat, we have voice text, push to call. We can plug in all the productivity systems that manage and maximize conversions for the entire program. Now, of these three programs, Chase, which do you believe is the best one for you right now?
I'm going to go with the middle one.
Awesome, thank you. So notice what happened? Upsell, right? I don't want the base program. I want the program that's going to give you a little bit more juice. And I told you, this is the one that everybody buys, right? For some people, they want to go the enchilada, right? But a lot of people, every person we worked with, the ones that get the most results, they buy this one. We're offering a yes or a yes answer, a yes or a yes answer. Right? So sure. Great, you want the middle one. Awesome. So you got any questions about the middle program? Are all look good to you?
Yeah. Looks good. I get it.
Right. So Chase, what do you think we should, where do you think we should go to from here?
Actually, a question that I have heard asked in that situation a lot is, well, if I start with the middle one, I could upgrade if it's working, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we would probably encourage you, once we've built out this system, run it out on the road, start making those conversions, then we would actually look to adding and building the structure out so you've got a very solid CRM follow-up system. So absolutely. So based on everything you know right now, Chase, we know the numbers, we know the outcomes, we know that we have a system that's going to give you the outcomes you're looking for. What do you think we should do now, Chase? Where do we go to from here?
So at this point, have I already signed like a proposal or anything? Or no, okay, so you're going to send me a proposal to sign, or
we're going to do the proposal. So you're going to say, well, basically, what are we doing now? What do you think you should do? You know the program, you know the works. You've chosen the second option. What do you think we should do right now, Chase? What do you think we should go to from here?
Well, you tell me. What's the next step?
Great. So let me walk you through an agreement that we have. You'll notice a link in the Skype chat here, in the Zoom chat here. Just open that link up and let me walk you through. This is a list of inclusions of the program that we're developing for you. These are the requirements we require from you. We need access. We need to be able to have conversations. We need to build some assets, and we need that process. So I need you to sign off on what we need from you, if you're okay with that. And then I'll sign off on what we've said we've agreed to deliver this system, that process. And we can do that very easily. If you just click that button there, it'll allow you to drop your signature in. Just use the mouse if you're using mouse, right? And that's done. As soon as they do that, right? Great. So the next part of this process, we need to start with that initial installment. You've already invested $5,000 in a strategy. $8,000, $10,000 is the initial installment. We're happy to place that $5 grand. So if you can hit that second link, best credit card that gives you the most rewards points, gets us started now. And Stephanie, our customer implementation management person, is going to be setting a schedule of a time to get this program going.
Gotcha. So Kevin has a question here. It says, that was a good bit of options. No, I can imagine someone might ask to look at the 3 options, or doesn't that happen?
The 3 you've already shown them demonstration options. You've shown them. The 3 options are option 1, this is the program. Option 2, this is the mind map of the thing that we're recommending. Option 3 is the enchilada, right? You're asking the question, you're giving a yes or yes answer, right? It's the same solution for everybody. You're not changing anything. It's the same solution. All you're saying is, do you want the basic program? Do you want the one that's the business development one, the one that you need? Or do you want the enchilada? Because some people want the enchilada, right? They want the big deal, right? So you're giving them, you're not saying, here's the price. What do you think, right? You're not saying that. What you're doing is, great, based on what you told me, these are the best solutions for you moving forward. Of the three, based on what you believe, which one do you want? You're allowing them to choose a yes or a yes. It's not a yes or a no. If you do one price, one deal, it's like a 50-50 yes or no, right? But if I say this is the one that most people invest in and this is why, and here are the value stack for what you get for that investment, right? They're going to go like you did. Most people go option 2, upsell, right? I go, no, I don't want the poverty back, right? Nobody wants that, right?
Well, because you also mapped option 2 to the map that you created for me, right? That is the solution that you presented and I agreed will work.
Exactly. So all you're doing is you're giving me a yes or yes option. You don't need to go and show the whole mind map of option 3, right? Option 3 is a different proposition, right? Most people aren't going to take that option. Maybe one in 20 will take the higher option. And here's the other thing, Chase, in what I just demonstrated, is some people will go, I want the enchilada, right? Now, if you don't offer it, they can't buy it. So you're literally stepping yourself into a 120 grand client right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're offering a 120 grand deal. And by the way, that's every year, right? So year on year, right? Because once the client's got the system in place, they're not leaving, right? Because if they leave, they lose everything. And that's the other thing, that in your agreement, you could say, hey, we own the intellectual property, we own the system, right? If you decide to stop at any point in time, then we will stop. We'll provide you with a CSV file of your leads. You get to keep those, but we get to keep the system, right? You're renting. You're not owning the system. You don't own the software. You don't own the IP. You're renting the IP. We develop the IP for you. This IP is designed to work for you. Whilst our software is in play, you get to use it. You get to play. As soon as you stop paying, you're out. And then you lose all that revenue. It's very hard when a client sits there, and I can tell you this from our experience, when clients are going, you know what, I think we can do this cheaper elsewhere. Great, go elsewhere. Go build it out, right? Oh, no, but we want our emails. And so, well, no, that's part of the system. That's the rent, right? That's our intellectual property. That's our copyright. You don't get any of that. Go, right? Knock yourself out. Here's your lead list. Go. 2 months later, they lose $100,000 or $200,000 of revenue, and sales drop in 2 months. Not managing leads, things are going shit. And they're going, shit, if we keep doing this for the next 6 months, we're going to lose $600,000 of cash. The cash flow goes out the window. We got to get back and talk to that Chase guy because that freaking thing worked, right?
Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's if you build a relationship with your clients and coaching, if you're improving like we do with our systems, then they're going to stay. They're not going to disappear on you. You know, our lifetime value doing what you're doing this whole process of high level is 3 to 5 years right now. We've got people who've been with us for 5 years for email marketing, 5 years, right? 5 years paying $6,000 a month for 5 years.
This is a really good distinction and point to make, because in the past, like when I was running the agency that I used to work at, and you were using all these different tools, you would end up in these conversations, you know, a year down the line, everything's working, you know, it's going great. And they're like, cool, I don't need you guys anymore. You already set this up for me in my active campaign account, in my whatever account, and my Zapier account. Like, I'm just going to leave it all running and see you guys later. And that's a hard conversation. But with HighLevel, because it's your white label, you control the whole system. It is like flicking the switch. Like, no, it's all or nothing, which is a great point.
Yeah. So you own a system. You own the intellectual property. It's your business. The one thing that I would highly encourage you to do is to create a naming convention for your account, right? You know, give it a naming convention. For example, we have people who've got patient drip, right? That's a naming convention. The software is called patient drip, right? What does it do? Drip do your thing, right? We've got student convert, right? They're in the training market for training programs, and the program's called the Go High Level program is called student convert, right? If you create a brand and a naming convention, that's the other thing that makes this really powerful. If you create a brand convention, people want that thing. It's not, you're not using Go High Level. It's student convert. It's patient drip. It's, it's the CMSS conversion system. It's
Law hustle.
So as soon as you create a brand around it and a naming convention, people start to look at that and go, oh, I want that thing, right? That's what I want, right? It's not email marketing. It's not, you know, like that. That's the other thing, is the reason why we charge at the values that we do is because, for example, for one client that we're working with, we paid a copywriter $69,000 to write all the emails and all the systems and all the copy for that program, right? We paid 69 grand for all the copy for one client, but now we have a really robust communication system that's been tested that we can now copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, right? So we invest heavily, you know, like last year we paid, we spent about $200,000 on copywriters to write emails for us. 200 grand for copywriters to write emails, but that 200 grand turns into $40 million of the revenue, Chase, right? So understand that I'm not writing the emails, right? I know I can write them, but I don't want to write email. I don't want to sit there and go, well, let's map out the sales process and what email goes here. I'm too busy. We want to go and generate more clients, right? We don't want to write emails, right? So if we look at the value proposition we bring, right? Like I said, let's look at the roofing client that we just talked about before. If every sale's worth $15,000 to $20,000, right? And I asked that roofing guy, how much would you spend to buy a $15,000 to $20,000 customer? They're going to turn around and say, well, right now we pay $3 grand commissions for a sale, right? So you're telling me that you would pay $3,000 for a 20 grand deal? Yes, great. So for 10 clients, you're willing to invest $30,000 for $300,000 worth of revenue. So you're building the value proposition. So when you come in and say, hey, we charge $5 grand a month or 10 grand a month, right? And that's going to convert 20 or 30 clients, right? It's a no-brainer. So when we offer the pricing structure, they're looking at that's cheap, dude, right? You're way too cheap. If they say yes too quickly, you know you're too cheap. You need to put your prices up, right?
Yeah, so, but when you phrase it the way that you did, it sounds like a lot less because you're and so, John, talk to me before we wrap up. That roofing scenario, that's a great one, and I love because, like you said, okay, you've got up to $3,000 to acquire a sale. That's a really healthy budget to work with. You know you're going to be able to generate leads for way less than that. You know that HighLevel will help you close at a rate and a cost that's way less than that. That's a really good situation to be in. So you mentioned in the beginning some industries that you have your eye on that really need help right now, that have healthy margins. Could you talk a bit about that?
So let's look at industries that are crushing it right now in the market, right? Right across the globe, in the United States, we have 46 million people who are unemployed, right? 12 million of those people are going to start their own business. There's going to be a huge influx of new business into the marketplace. But people need jobs, and the companies are going to grow really fast right now, and that are going to get subsidies from governments around the Western world are training companies. Anything certification or upskilling, all those businesses, right, certified licensing and upskilling, they're going to go through the roof. Their average sale is anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 per student. For those, some of those even more, some of them $10,000, $15,000 accreditation, right? We're working, we know, well, one of our people are working with a company right now where the average student pays $35,000 for a certification, right? And they generate thousands of leads and they don't manage them properly, right? So training companies that do licensing certification, they are going to go gangbusters because they spend money on marketing and they burn leads. They have terrible sales processes. They generally have a front desk person who handles the inquiry. Somebody calls in and says, hey, I'm interested in this course. They go, yeah, just jump on the website. They don't manage the sale. They don't manage the lead. They don't know who, they don't know where they come from. These companies are absolute gold for HighLevel. Gold, right? The market. So that market, education and training is massive, right? And that's a huge niche, by the way, in every country. That's big, big dollars. And there are literally, like in Australia alone, there's more than 7,000 people that fit that category that I just said. 7,000 companies just in Australia alone. In the United States, just in the certification area, there are more than 50,000 companies to go after in the US for certification for people who sell their programs of $2,000 or more, right? 50,000 companies. That's a lot of leads, right? They even have their own industry association. I don't know about you, but I don't need to work with 50,000 people, but I could probably build a 7-figure business out of 20 of them, right? Easily, right?
Yeah, that's I like that. That's a great niche because especially as, universities were just, the pricing of them have gone through the roof, and now this pandemic has really just exposed them, and that whole thing's going to change. So I love the idea. I think you're right. Certification companies,
certification, accreditation, vocational training, vocational skill training, right? Those companies, huge, massive. Now you're going to love this one: the luxury market, luxury companies, luxury products, luxury things. Chanel, in the middle of coronavirus, increased all their prices by 25%. and they are doing 80% more revenue in this shitstorm of coronavirus than they were this time last year. Luxury in recessionary markets goes up. Luxury car sales go through the roof. Luxury items go through the roof. Luxury property goes through the roof. Luxury sells. Rich people keep buying in recessionary markets. Companies that have lots of asset value spend lots of money. So luxury and premium end services, that's a massive market. In recession, they are the easy money. And guess what? They've got lots of cash to spend with you, right? They don't have a problem spending the money. So anything luxury products at any level, pick the top 10 products in any category, those markets right now are on the rise, Factory direct. Now, there's this tiny little company in China called Alibaba. Don't know if anybody heard about it, right? Very small company. They represent marketing for over 300,000 manufacturers in Southeast Asia. In the United States, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, in Africa, the manufacturing force is changing because they cannot rely on the distribution or the disruption to distribution right now. It's happening all over the world, right? So manufacturing is coming back. Anybody that's producing a product and go direct to market doesn't need to go through an agent anymore or a distribution channel. They can go online and go direct. So all these showrooms, these strip malls where they got, furniture, bedding, mattress, those guys are going through the roof. The sales are going through the roof. I had to go, because we moved to a new location, because of this, I'm stuck where I am, so I have to go buy some furniture. The furniture company I went to, they shut down for 3 weeks in the middle of Corona when it first started. And then they had customers going, hey, we want to buy stuff, right? So they decided to gradually open their doors. They're 40% up on revenue and sales, and they are continuing to break records in the middle of shit, because here's the thing. Nobody can travel right now. Nobody, vacations and all that sort of stuff out the window. So what are you going to do? You're going to make your life more comfortable. So big retail is going through the roof. It's making tons of money. That market there is spending a lot of money on marketing, advertising, promotion to let people know that they're open. That market is huge. Factory direct, showroom direct, big businesses, big budgets, they've got marketing. That means they're driving customers, and they need Go High Level to manage those sales and manage those inquiries. So that's another market. Anything to do with health tech, biotech, health services, all those companies. Right now, we're doing an experiment. We just closed a $175,000 deal for Go High Level, right? In the health tech market with a SaaS company, right? Their average customers work between 1,000 to 2,400 a year in subscriptions, right? So it was a no-brainer. We're building a whole system for them, but we charge them 10 grand to do the strategy session up front, right? It took us 2 weeks to convert that deal, 2 weeks from scratch, because they have a need. Right now, they know they're in the sweet spot. Everybody's moving in this market. Everybody needs help. So there's lots of money being poured into health, lots of cash. Anything health services, health tech, health related, that industry is going through the roof. Now, you might think finance, money markets on the rise, short-term lending, long-term lending, commercial refinancing, all those markets through the roof. Financial planning through the roof. Right now, we're sitting there going, hey, we've just been hit. We've got to make sure we minimize our risk and look at our planning, our portfolio, our investments. Right now, financial planners are flat out. They're going through the roof. So big money in the financial planning or in the finance sector. Anything to do with lending money short-term, big money. Anything to do with debt reduction, debt management, big money, factoring debt. So factoring invoices, those companies are going to go through the roof right now because it's all about cash flow. So finance markets, they're really, really cool, right? Now, renovation. Renovation is huge. In every recessionary period, we are going to make ourselves more comfortable. We're not going to buy a new house. We're going to fix the one we live in, and we want to build on our dream home. So renovators, contractors through the roof. I've got contractors right now that are booked out for jobs, and we've seen with our champions, they're booked out for jobs 6 months in advance in the middle of all this crap, right? Because they're busy. They've got cash, and they're out there acquiring. They know they're going to spend. The thing is, if we look at niches, anybody right now that is spending money on advertising is a Go High Level candidate. Any company right now that is physically spending money on TV, radio, Facebook, AdWords, Google Display Network, Instagram, YouTube, any company that's investing any cash publicly to acquire customers is a perfect candidate for Go High Level, right? Perfect candidate. So if you said to me, where's the money, right? Where's the bank that I can go and rob? Advertising. Anybody that's running ads, there's the bank, right? So there's a couple of niches. I can go on even more. So we have mate, tech and IT going through the roof. Tech and IT going through the roof. Communications, telecommunications, anything intranet or internet, anything knowledge-based management, CRMs. Talk about CRMs. We can sell a CRM or manage a CRM by using a CRM. Most CRMs do not. Most CRMs, we've got people who use Go HighLevel with Salesforce. Using Go HighLevel as a lead management platform that drives the relationship into the inventory control in Salesforce. We're connecting it up, right? So any company like that, any software, any SaaS, is perfect for Go HighLevel right now. There are so many opportunities out there, Chase. The key thing here, you don't need a lot of clients to do very well in this business. An average client spending $3,000 with you per month for the service you provide with Go HighLevel. That's 27 clients. That's $84,000 in recurring revenue per month. That is $1 million run rate for a business. You can do that. I've seen people do that in less than 6 months with Go HighLevel. I've seen people do that in a year easily. That's 2 to 3 clients a month that you'll bring on board. Now, if you can't bring at least 3 clients a month on board, you're not working. It takes you roughly 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. At the end of that month, you've spent 40 hours actively engaging and acquiring customers. If you've invested 40 hours in income-generating activity, you're going to get 3 clients a month. 3 clients a month.
Yeah, John, I really appreciate you rattling those off, and I think you're dead on with them. And I think you did a really good job for hopefully a lot of our community who are just getting started, trying to figure out their niche, will really resonate with one of those ideas you threw out there. And really, your first client is just about like whatever John said that resonates with you, financial planners. Great. Yeah. Google financial planners in your town and start looking at their websites. I guarantee you more than half of them are terrible. And there's your opportunity, right? You just get in front of them.
Go to the guys who are spending money on ads. Financial planners, if they go to Google AdWords and they're spending money on ads and being visible, that means they're acquiring leads, right? My question is, how are they managing those leads? How are they converting those leads? Because cold traffic doesn't convert as well as referred traffic, right? And if they're spending money, that means they value the fact of marketing. If they value marketing, then they're going to value conversion, right? So that anybody, right, like it's a license to print money. Anybody that's spending any money on advertising is your goal, is your client, especially those who spend lots of money. So there's this cool little tool called iSpionage, not espionage like spying, but there's a thing called iSpionage.com, right? I can go into Google Ads. Now, don't click on the ad. Take the URL, right? Take the link, copy paste it into iSpionage. It'll tell you the copy, how much money they're spending per day on advertising, what how well the campaign is working, what the top keywords are, what the top negative keywords are. It'll give you an assessment on the success of that campaign. And if you see somebody who's consistently spending money and they're spending high dollar value on leads, then I'd be sitting and say, hey, I know you're spending roughly $635 per lead. I know that you're tracking to a landing page that's actually not converting properly because you've got a few broken links on there. So it's actually costing you more to acquire those customers. I'd love to just touch base, one, to look at ways of reducing that ad spend. More importantly, I'd really love to help you close those deals. If you like some help closing those deals and making it easy for you, let's have a chat.
Yeah, wow.
I haven't had really say no to that.
You really just got the wheels turning about cold outreach based on what you just said. Hey, I know you're spending this much to acquire a lead. I guarantee I can bring that down for you. Who wouldn't want someone to make their leads cheaper, right? And then, hey, I'd also love to know, are you sending automated emails, texts, voicemails to every lead? Are you know what I mean? Do you have a nurture that lasts weeks to make sure you're converting the most amount that you can? I mean, that's an easy sell.
Yeah. I would run, like, regardless if you're going direct or you're running ads in the marketplace to generate lead opportunities, people right now need help. This thing, what's happened in the world today in business, we're in lockdown, we're in, it is a disaster. It is a disaster. However, in every disaster, in every crisis, there's a massive opportunity. And right now, there are 3 ways that people are going right now. 30%, 40% of the market are out. They're not coming back. They're gone, right? 30% of the market's trying to hang in there. They're trying to open the doors. They're trying to stay in business. But there's this bunch of people, and these are the people that are the ones that are spending money on advertising marketing because they know they have to show people that they are visibly open. They're the people you want to work with. They're the people who understand that they need to invest to grow in the middle of the shitstorm that we're in, right? So opportunity-wise, there are a ton of opportunity. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm hanging out with a different crowd of people. Nobody I'm hanging out is talking about doom and gloom. Nobody I'm hanging out is about talking about, hey, we have to let go of people or we're losing jobs. The people I'm hanging out are focusing on the thing that's important, and that is to help people with their products or services that can benefit from what they do. And if you have that intent, and if you're focused on having a positive and optimistic conversation, one that gives people some clarity, some assurance, some leadership, and more importantly, some movement, some momentum, right? Then you're going to open the door to a ton of business. You should not be struggling to get clients with Go High Level. Right now, you are in the perfect place. You have an exceptional product that is constantly being improved and developed, and you're not having to pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. This is an opportunity that is literally sitting in people's laps. They don't realize the true power of what you've built at Go High Level. Understand that this is an opportunity to create a substantial value proposition business, one that helps a lot of people get amazing results, one that gives you the opportunity to grow something significant for yourself, one that puts you in the sweet spot for doing the one thing that most people want, is to have a level of ownership and freedom for themselves. And so at the end of the day, the biggest thing that this thing does is impact. It has a huge impact on those who are involved in Go High Level, has a massive impact on those who actually engage in the product and use the product for the service. That's the beauty of what Go High Level does. That's the beauty. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a perfect way to sum it up, John. Thanks. We just crossed the hour mark. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for sharing all those insights with us. If people like what they're hearing and they'd love to follow up with you, get more of your knowledge, where should they go?
Let's go to consultingunleashed.com. I've got it's totally free, but there's this mini course that steps out a singular focus and walks you into client sales. If you use that, it's really simple. It's only 20 minutes. There are 5 videos. If you actually take out I've actually got scripting and campaigns as well. But if you actually take out the pieces and just apply that, you'll go and get a customer. So it's free. You can jump in, go to consultingunleashed.com. You can jump on there. It's called the Fast 5.
Awesome. All right, consultingunleashed.com. John Logar, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm sure we'll get you back in the loop on this series in the very near future. John is a legend. I would agree with that. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Good to have you, man. Take care.